Block 1, Who I Am, before the Zego story.
Before I talk about Zego, the FOS, and the white Toyota, I should say a little about who I am. Not to make myself sound important, and not to say, look at me, what a special person I am. But so that it is easier to understand why, when it came to certain things, I simply could not stay silent. There have been far harder and more painful situations in my life than this car story. Health, loved ones, losses, and real human suffering. Not all of that can or needs to be opened up here. This channel does not begin with me claiming that my story is the greatest suffering in the world. This story begins with something I could never have imagined, even in my dreams. I would never have believed that a single insurance claim could turn into something like this. That something which was supposed to help a person get back on their feet after suffering a loss could instead begin pushing them even further down. If someone had told me before that an insurance company could behave like this, I might have thought, come on, don't talk nonsense, that can't really happen. But now I am telling it from my own life. I am not a lawyer. I am not an expert hired by an insurance company, but I am not someone who looks at a damaged car with completely untrained eyes either. My technical path began when I was still a child. When I was about 8 years old, I crawled underneath our Vadtenu 103 Jiguli after the exhaust had dropped loose on the road. There were no mobile phones. We could not call for help. The grown men could not fit underneath the heavily loaded car, but I could. My father and my uncle, my father's brother, guided me from the side. I tied the exhaust up with wire so we could continue the journey. Later it was repaired properly, but that moment stayed with me. A small boy had done something that genuinely mattered, and he was praised for it. Moments like that stay inside a person. My father was technically very capable. My uncle was a driving instructor. From being around them, I learned early that a machine is not just metal. A machine is responsibility. When something is broken, panic alone does not help. You look, you think, and you find a solution. Later, my life took me through machinery, tools, cars, woodwork, factories, pipework, gases, computers, repairs, and practical work. I learned to look at surfaces, marks, shapes, fractures, wear, and contradictions. Art school gave me an eye. Technical work gave me a hand. Life gave me patience. But I have had weak points too. As a child, I struggled with spelling. In today's language, you might say I had dysgraphia. Back then, people did not talk much about things like that. You simply got a red line under your mistake, and someone who was good at spelling might look down on you. But I am old enough now that it no longer breaks me. If someone takes pride in being better at spelling, then good luck to them on their path to becoming a writer. Over the course of my life, I learned to value my other strengths. There are no perfect people, except perhaps one general in the army who said that he had only ever been wrong once in his life, and that was when he thought he was wrong. But actually he wasn't. You remember things like that. Perfect grammar has never been my strength. My strength has been practical thinking, a technical eye, and the ability to look for solutions in real situations. Give me something broken, a tool, a bit of wire, a spanner, and a situation where office talk is no longer any use and life starts speaking a different language. I am not competing with the best in the world. But I have seen enough people who are very good in their own narrow field, and yet, the moment they step even slightly outside it, their feet are already sinking into the swamp. I am more the old-fashioned Estonian man type, the kind of man who had to do a great deal himself around his farm and home. Forest, pasture, animals, tractors, implements, the house, foundations, tools, the car, all of it was part of life. My father came from South Estonia, from Võrumaa. Jokingly, you could say, from the countryside with a horse. But behind that joke was a real world where a man had to know how to do more than just one thing. For years, I serviced my own cars until newer vehicles and warranty requirements meant that some work had to be taken to authorized servicing. I have driven or tried many different machines over the course of my life. Cars, tractors, combine harvesters, military vehicles. At one point, counting from memory, I had been behind the controls of more than 40 different machines. The first was a Moskvich 412. I started sitting on my father's lap because my feet could not yet reach the pedals. I believe quite a few boys of my generation will recognize something in that. And now, at the end of that line, there is a Toyota, a white Toyota, which I will talk about in much more detail later on this channel. Before the story reaches that point, I want to thank my family, especially my wife, with whom I have carried both joy and hardship through life. Some things cannot be carried alone. Some burdens stay standing only because someone is standing beside you. I also thank my sons, my loved ones, and those people who have been part of shaping who I became, even if they themselves do not know it. And you listening right now, in some way become part of this moment too. Something brought you here. Something made you keep listening. Perhaps there is a word in this story, a thought, or a wound that you recognize from your own life. Nobody has to believe me blindly. All I can do is tell my story and show the dates, the letters, the photographs, and the contradictions. But before the facts comes the person. That was the first step. Who I am before the Zego story.